Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. We are going to do this kind of quick and dirty and see what comes out. Hopefully that doesn't sound wrong. Anyway, so to give a kind of summarization of how we ended up looking at this current image that we are seeing before us now, a internet personality named Alana Pierce made a bunch of comments today regarding accessibility in gaming. Most specifically, I believe she was talking about Elden Ring. She made a few comparisons. Apparently she doesn't have children, but one of the comparisons she did use was, you know, when a parent has a 2-year-old and the 2-year-old's doing something, they need to be able to pause the game. And because you can't pause Elden Ring, it's not fair or something along those lines. That's the base rundown. I don't have a lot of patience for those kinds of things. So all that being said, having a parent, being a parent isn't a reason a game designer should change their game. Honestly, if you look at this graph before us, this entire graph, everything with the exclusion of heavy accent under situational are things that you should probably not be doing things like, I don't know, using an app or playing a game during. You shouldn't be obviously driving while using an app unless, of course, that app is talking to you for directions. And I'm not sure how many bartenders use apps while they're doing those kind of things. That said, most of those things you also shouldn't play a game during. Well, I will make one exception for that.
Marissa, I'm playing COD. You just got shitted on. For real. Just uninstall.
Being a new parent is not a disability. I don't care what Microsoft says, it's not a disability. Are there things that it might be nice if game developers considered when developing a game for people who have problems with their hands or with certain types of motor functions and stuff? Yeah, that'd be cool. But you know what? It's not going to happen for all games, because we're back to the point where, once again, not every game is meant for everybody. Some people aren't going to be able to play games. I love the idea behind Bloodborne. I can't even tell you how much I love the lore of Bloodborne. I can't get past... I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. I can't get to the first boss in Bloodborne. I can't get past these two wolves. And it actually took me a number of hours to get to the point that I could get past, or that I could get to those two wolves. So I get frustrated and I stop playing the game. Now, every time I come back to the game, I get a little further. But at this point in time, I don't have a lot of time for gaming in my life, so I haven't gone back to it in a while. That said, I don't think they need to change Bloodborne for me. No matter how much I would love to experience the rest of that story, I don't want them to change a goddamn thing. Because I want to experience the game as they intended it to be. When you create a story, there is always a way that it is intended to be experienced. And developers, writers, artists all have an idea of what they want that to be. So if they don't include a pause button, it's because that not having that pause button is part of the experience of the game. If you don't like that, then don't play it. It's okay. There are plenty of other games for you to play. You don't have to play that game. Sometimes I feel like I might be a little weird in that I don't suffer from a fear of missing out a lot, FOMO, because I know that I'm going to miss out on things. But missing out on one thing usually means that there's something better out there for me. And a lot of people kind of need to get over that, I think. They need to get over the idea, well, if I don't have this now, or if I don't have this, or if I don't watch this, then something in my life won't be complete, because that's not true. Your life will go on just fine, and you can then use that time to find something that is a better fit for you. I know a lot of content creators want to play specific games because they know they're trending, but if you're not going to enjoy the game, and you're not, more importantly, going to be able to succeed at the game to some degree, I don't believe the audience is going to enjoy it. There's a lot of games I won't play because I know I won't be good at them. On the other hand, there's some games I'll play knowing I won't be good at them, but I'll still have fun. Because I know if I'm having fun, The majority of the time, people will enjoy watching. If I'm having fun or if I'm really angry, those seem to be the two, fun or angry. And that's the fun thing about watching people play Elden Ring and games like that, is because they're often very angry. But, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, just add the pause button. It's not like it's a big deal. It's 2004. There's no excuse for a game not to have a pause button. A developer not wanting to put a feature in the game, no matter what that feature is a reason for that game not to have that feature. I know people think of it as a quality of life thing, but some games aren't there to cater to your quality of life, at least not in terms of that game. And that just means the game's not for you. There are plenty of games in this world not for me. Basically, anything that's an FPS PvP shooter is not for me because I suck at them. I'm trying to think of other games not for me. But realistically, I'll play just about anything at least once. What's one game I won't play? Shit. I've even played Fortnite. Oh, I know a game that's not for me. Minecraft. Minecraft is absolutely not for me. I can't stand the concept of that game. World of Warcraft. Also not for me. For me, in the case of World of Warcraft, the reason that game was not for me is because of the graphics. I was never a fan of the art style. I was never a fan of the music. It just didn't vibe for me. I was an EverQuest person. I prefer EverQuest and EverQuest 2. I also liked Final Fantasy XIV. Looking at things going on currently right now, probably a good thing I'm not playing it, but you know, everything seems to go down the drain at some point. Sometimes something being inclusive isn't a good thing. People want gaming to be inclusive, but that does not mean every game has to include everybody. True gaming inclusivity means there's a type of game out there for everybody, not that one game is for everybody. And I think that might be a crux of the issue that the current battle for gaming has, is that on one hand, you have a group of people who think, you know, if you want to develop a game for a certain type of people, then you go ahead and develop that game for those people. That doesn't mean we'll play it, but those people will. They understand that and they move on. And then you have the other group of people who seem to think that, well, this game sounds interesting, so then it must cater to me. We saw a little bit of it when it came to Baldur's Gate 3. The number of people who complained, well, this game is turn-based. I don't want to play a turn-based game. Why did they make it a turn-based game? The same reason the Elden Ring doesn't have a pause button, literally, because that is the experience of the game. That is the way the game is meant to be experienced. And if that's not a game for you, then that's okay. Sure, it's a story you wanted to experience, but you can't because there's something about it you don't like. I understand being upset. Life's not fair. If life was fair, I'd be able to beat Bloodborne, but life's not fair. At the same time, that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be an ability for people to bring in third-party things that allow them to do that kind of thing. Mutahar, for example, while championing the idea of adding the pause function, did note that you could suspend the application on PC and basically pause it that way. I saw a lot of jokes about the permanent pause button being unplugging it. But I have had a long and storied time with gaming. I played both consoles and I played PC. I played the predecessors to what would be considered PC at the time, the Commodore 64 and stuff. And there were plenty of games that you couldn't pause. I've had a lot of people coming at me saying, well, you could pause all the games on the console. The majority of them, yes. A large majority of games you could actually pause. There's still ones that weren't. And of course, if you played anything online, which my first multiplayer, one of the first games I played online is something called a MUD. In other words, a multi-user dungeon. It was basically D&D in text, no pictures. And that you couldn't pause because it was online. There is no pausing. If I was sitting in the middle of a town and that town got invaded and my mother had called me away for something, I was dead. It's just the way it is. Is that good? Is that bad? It's just the way it is. And for me, I've gotten very accustomed to that. I don't really anticipate every game having a pause. Honestly, the fact that Elden Ring didn't have a pause never bothered me. As long as I'd played it, I didn't have any problems with that. If I needed to, I just saved and shut it down. Well, it's been a little bit since I played. Could you only save at the Graces? I think you could only save at the Graces. Still, if the ability to pause a game is at the crux of everything for you, then don't play games that can't pause. I'm repeating myself. What I'm saying here is that it's okay to accept that some games aren't for you. I don't understand why people feel entitled to be able to play every game. I don't understand why people seem to want to be catered to by every game. If every game was catered to me, every game would likely be some kind of high fantasy. Actually, no, I don't even know what every game would be if it catered to me, come to think of it, because I like a bunch of different things. It would be a combination of high fantasy and Lovecraft. God only knows what that would turn out to be. If someone wants to make that game, please do. I'm very interested to see what you come up with. All that to say, you know what, people? Stop expecting games to cater to you. Accept games as they are. Encourage the ones that do the things you want them to do. And leave the people who like to play games in ways that you don't alone. Just leave them alone. Let them play their games. Let people be happy. It sucks that it's not going to work for you. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say about that, guys. By the time this hits the interwebs, I will be on my way to Denver for the Fan Expo to hang out for a bit. There will be, on the 4th, a video about 3 different indie TTRPG type creator things. So please stop by and watch that. And on the 8th, we'll drop an absolutely terrible highlight revision of my stream from Thursday. When I say absolutely terrible, I mean, I understand if you don't watch it. It's less highlights and me just editing out the dead air. So come by and maybe give me some ideas on how to improve that. I'm going to need help with that. Oh my God. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you have any games that you haven't been able to play for whatever reason? Any games you weren't able to get through because you weren't good enough, or they lacked a quality of life that you couldn't live without? Or do you just play everything? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.